perfect time, it feels like I'm too late.
Wah, what it do? What it do? What up, though?
What's up? What's up, y'all?
Back
Happy.
again.
Well, it's Monday here. Happy Monday. I don't know when this is gonna be released, so that's why.
Supposed to be soon, man. This is right before Easter, man. So we out
Ooh.
here. Episode 5, man. 5 is a good deal, good deal. Yeah. So look, man, we're gonna start the show off a little different, man. So the book we're doing today is Three Magic Words by, is that Uell Anderson? Is that how you say that? Uell Andersen?
Uell?
Yeah, why? No, just why? Uells Anderson. So that's the book. But so we always talk about how we're business owners, right? So I want to talk about my first ever proof of concept. So shout out to Jonathan Cannon, my day one. Like, people got day ones, but like, this is really my day one. Been my dog for many many years, and I'm wearing his hoodie today. He made this hoodie for people from my city, Colleen. Shout out to the K. 254 to the world blow. 20-year high school reunion is this year, and wanted to make sure that I gave them a little shine on this video. Now, me and Sid just kind of locked in, so I told her, asked her about her high school. Tell her what we about to do, man. Yeah.
So Vic has just hit his 20-year high school reunion, which I was like, wow, 20 years? That's crazy. Because my 10-year high school university was last year, and I thought I was so old. I still feel old. Like, that's insane. And so then he sent me a picture of him in high school. And so I'm going to open it because we wanted to get my reaction.
Live reaction. So I told her, like, the way I looked at high school is the way I look now, but let's see what she says. We let the suspense
Now
build.
if you were to open it, let me see.
Cannon, support Cannon. I'm gonna send the link to these shirts. Any shirts like this, if you got your high school reunion or anything coming up, my homie, he's lit. Make sure you like, share, subscribe.
I don't know why the link.
It's because we live. They don't want us to be great.
Which post is it?
So I don't really post that much. Like, for real, if you go to the page, it should be like the 4th or 5th post.
Oh, from the bottom.
From the top.
From the top. Oh, you did it recently.
Yeah, because I only post, like, I don't know, 2-3 times a year.
I see that. Wait. You look like a girl.
Reaction I wanted to see. Yeah. Shout out to the K, man. Yeah.
That's like a 35-year-old man. Oh my goodness. Are those grills?
Yo, we gotta clip that. Are those grills? Yeah. Look at what year does that say?
2003, 2004. That's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to the K, man. One time for the K, man. Shout out to the K, man. Yeah, we out here, man. Yeah,
that's
man. Like,
so funny. Oh
yeah. So this true story, man. Mama, don't get mad at me. Like, I've been buying alcohol since a young man. Like, they used to have this spot called, I think it's called a Beer Barn or something, off of I don't know if it was Stan Schluter Road. It might be. Don't beat me up in the comments if you're in the city. Since I left the K and never went back. Like, real deal spill. Like, one of those things where it's like, I survived living in Colleen. I was really a transplant out there, but I'm always gonna represent the K, man. But yeah, when I left, I never came back because it was rough out there. But what you see in that imagery, in that picture, and that's just my high school ID. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And like,
crazy.
You probably couldn't see that. Like, we've been locked in for a little while, but like, that's the guy who, man. Shout out to the K, man.
Person, like.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
And like, yeah, man. Just like, I don't know, like, I kind of lost my train of thought, but it's just, I love your reaction and how it relates to this book. This book is talking about the power of thought and self-awareness, and I'm so self-aware to know that I gotta always be humble and always remember that I got very, very humble beginnings, man. So it's gonna always be 254 to the world blow. I've never really said this on a public platform, but God bless the dead. R.I.P. to Jocelyn Long, good friend of mine who was murdered in the city. I love you, Miss Tanya. I haven't spoke to you in many years, but yeah, when you see that picture, man, there's a lot of trauma behind that picture, because like, that was just a normal day. And that don't make me tough. That don't make me nothing, right? But, as we discuss the universal like concept of consciousness and how individuals are innerly connected, which is what this book really relates to. Just always remember, like, be yourself and show up as your authentic self at work, and people will gravitate to that because I think your energy, anybody's energy, people always resonate with like the real. And I think the biggest thing with this book and how it related to how we opened up is just like the visualization of personal development and growth. What are your thoughts on that though, man?
Yeah, I think first I just can't believe that's you. Like I'm still kind of shook. Like there's no there's no way that's you. But I think a big part of the book, self-awareness as it relates to entrepreneurship, we have to be very, very self-aware. Like I was telling Vic before this, went on I did sales training uh last week, and a big part of that was like those what are they called, the emotional tests. What are they called? Like you
Oh,
do
like
this stuff.
Myers Briggs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So stuff
Mhm.
like that. So you take people to kind of understand how they would react in certain situations, their personalities, and within that, we talked about empathy and self awareness. And I feel like a lot of people, especially with sales, like some people will just have no self awareness of kind of like, is this really the time to be trying to sell something, or should I just be trying to foster a relationship with this person? And if it turns to a sale, okay. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But a big part of that was always go for relationship first, sales second. You know what I mean? Because like Big said, people can feel your energy. If it feels off, people aren't going to be receptive. That's a big part of entrepreneurship. You want people to be receptive to what you're doing. So if you come off hard and just inconsiderate, I think that's a big thing. Like kind of being inconsiderate and not kind of taking in what the person is sharing with you. You're going to have a hard time with entrepreneurship in general, selling your product, selling your service, making relationships with people. Is going to be a lot harder to do if you're just coming off like me, 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 me. You know what I mean? And it seems like this book kind of talks about that. You got to kind of know your awareness and pick and choose when you decide to do certain things.
Yeah, and I think really to lean in on that, don't be transactional. You
Yeah,
know,
that's the word,
I
transactional.
Yeah, like if you want to be transactional, there's a certain type of business where that works well. But
Mm-hmm.
like, if you come off as, one of the beautiful things that Nipsey Hussle really instilled in me is the concept of people being proud to pay for your services. Um, we've talked about this and we've alluded to it, and spoiler alert, when I started doing LinkedIn stuff, me and Sid gonna do LinkedIn stuff where we talk about 5 prompts from my prompt library, and we just talk about them and then we answer questions to the community, right? I'm never gonna charge anybody for most of those prompts because like this is how I learned the skill set. Like I can say that unequivocally that I position myself as a person who has a bit of credibility with AI now because I was open to learning from an open source perspective, right? But if I would have charged people for that prompt library that we've talked about, and I want your 2 cents on that on the back end, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't think I would have got that far. And it ain't really about my prompt library. It's just all about, just identifying something that our coach, YB, always talk about. Like, how can you fill somebody's gaps?
Yep.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and like being self-aware enough to understand that the influence that you might have on a person, the universe is going to pay that back on the back end. So like that's why I'll probably never charge for that specific piece of content because I think that, well, yeah, when I shared that with you, like how did you feel?
It was valuable, and I felt like, wow, like he's really giving this away. You know what I mean? Because most people would charge for it, but like I guess this kind of goes back to like relationship building and kind of having that connection with people. A lot of people will pay for a service like YB, for example. YB gives away a lot of free stuff just on his social media, just of knowledge. You know what I mean? When you're constantly receiving that, you're like, okay, now I'm in a need, or maybe I'm ready to pay for the service. Like, I want that person to do it. You know what I mean? They gave away all this stuff for free. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when they're solely kind of focused on me because I'm paying for that service. So I mean, that's how I feel about when Vic gave me the prompts. I was like, wow, these, and it helped me a lot with just creating content and making it a lot easier, saving me a boatload of time. And now it's like, okay, if I grow to the point where what will I be say? Don't say if. When I grow to the
Yeah, I
point.
owe him some money, right? YB, you're not on this call, so you won't get a check.
don't say if or try. That's his thing.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
say it. So when my team gets bigger and it's more than just me, it's like, okay, we need an AI person. I'm gonna go to Vic 110% because I'm like, this prompt was just a small piece of what I know that he can do, and I think that's how you have to think about in terms of relationship building and things like that.
10 for us. And then just so we could be intentional about, the book and what it kind of highlights, universal consciousness and suggesting that an individual's thoughts and belief, they're all interconnected with a larger universal force, right? Like that whole concept of, just being bigger than yourself. Like the book really emphasizes that, like the transformative power of like positive thinking and visualization, offering like practical tools, personal growth, self realization, like all of that is encompassed in this book. And I think we on this video are examples of that, right? Like I have manifested some things in my life that have come to fruition. And I got scared recently where I was like, you know, man, and this is probably definitely the first time I ever said this on camera. Um, I wanna have my first $1 million by the time I'm 40. Well, I'm 38, so I got a year and a half. And I remember the first time I had that idea, me and my wife were watching a Marvel movie called Seven Rings. And the guy went to Macau, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks hard. I want to go to Macau." But then I looked how much it costs to go to Macau. I'm like, "Nah, I ain't gonna go to Macau until I got my money right." And then I said right then and there, this was about a year or two ago. I was like, I ain't gonna go to Macau until I get my first M. And then this was like years before. I was still driving Uber and all that stuff. And I remember literally being scared to say it out loud. And now I'm saying it on a video that's recorded, that's going to go out to the masses. And I'm going to tell you that I'm already 10% there. And I say that from the point of view of a guy who is, I had a real late start to, getting my financial portfolio situated because my previous employer, they didn't have like a 401k and stuff. I love those guys, but, that just wasn't something they offered. But now, in less than about 5 years, I got six figures in my account. And, yeah, and I'll receive that too, because it's like, I get in
Yeah,
my head
receiving,
so
that's
much thinking.
awesome. That's an accomplishment.
And it's like one of those things where I feel weird about it because it's like I don't know how to take the compliment because it's like, man, it ain't my million, but it's like, nah, bro, like,
That's a big step. More than what most people have, you know what I mean?
yeah, and I say, but I spoke it into existence. So like
Hmm.
you looking at this video, like look me in my eyes when I tell you, like the guy that Sid saw in that picture never thought he would be right here, but God had something different for me, and I said that I wanted to be a better man and do more positive things, and you're better than your past, and
Yeah.
and if you want your future to be what you want your future to be, just speak it and it'll happen.
Yeah, big on speaking things into existence. I'm gonna bring God into everything because God is the center of what I do. He even says that in His Word. Power and death is through the tongue. You have to speak it. You can't speak negatively over your life and think things are going to work out because your mindset is not in an abundance mindset. It's not in a prosperity mindset. You're in a mindset of poverty and lack. When we follow God, we will lack nothing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And this is just from my experience this past year and a half with where God has taken me from, having a job just doing freelance stuff to like being my business full time and really stepping into it and just really trusting the process. Because entrepreneurship, if y'all entrepreneurs watching this, y'all know it's rough out here. It's if you were in full time entrepreneurship, it's hard from the start. From the start, are some people successful right away? Of course, you know what I mean. Some people have that immediate success, but like there's a lot of us where it takes some time to build, and you have to be persistent and disciplined. And I know as long as you work hard and you're kind of aligned with where God is taking you, whatever your purpose is, whatever your gift is, we all have gifts. I've said this before in a previous video. We all have gifts. If we're leaning into our gifts the way we should be, we will be fine. Don't get caught up in comparison. Comparison is lead for joy. When you have people like, for example, Vic, I'm gonna celebrate them. That's amazing. You need to have that mindset of where like if someone's doing better than you, congratulate them. That's great. You're gonna be there soon. You know what I mean? It might not be right now. It may be 2, 3 years from now. but definitely congratulate them. Don't get caught up in the comparison as well. Have that awareness. Have that awareness. As this book says, have that awareness that, hey, my time is coming. I know it's coming because I'm working towards it. Every step is a lesson. You might fall back, but I bet you'll take 10 steps forward from that. You know what I mean? So don't take the setbacks as like, oh, okay, I might as well go back to what I was doing. Don't look in the past. Keep it keep it going. Stay focused. I saw this sermon and he was saying, yeah, sermon on Sunday, Pastor James, he was saying, um, try to go in your car and look in your rearview mirror and try to drive. He said you're not gonna be able to because you look back. You I was like, whoa. He said you can't because you're gonna look, you gonna crash. Like, stay forward. And as you peep in the rearview mirror, you'll see the past going smaller and smaller as you drive. It gets smaller and further away, further away, further away. And that really stuck with me because I feel like we all get caught up in just looking at the past, like, well, what about this? Is like, no, like you need to have that forward mindset. So his analogy came in great today. I'll have to text him and tell him that.
And I think the power of thought, which is a key theme in this book, is very important, right? Like building on like your life experiences, like building on them, but not just resting on them, right? So like I come from trauma in a couple of different vantage points. But I thank God for that trauma because it made me stronger in a multitude of ways. Because when I meet people with similar trauma, we're able to connect and our energies are able to be, helpful for one another. So, Mike, I might be dealing with a trauma one day, and you got to be open and vulnerable to stuff. I think guys sometimes they get kind of caught up in it. Like, I go to therapy. Like, matter of fact, yeah, let's shout out therapy, man. Like, and I'll keep it a buck, man. Like, most of y'all got insurance. My therapy sessions only cost $25. Like I would throw $25 away on like a bottle back when I was young, or like I mean now McDonald's. I think McDonald's, you and your old lady gets a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like mental health is real, and this is something that this book talks about. But like just like understand that you're more than your trauma, and if somebody judges you, that's cool. Let that happen. But just know that, the universe is real and the power of thought is real. And you're more than any trauma that you've been through. And you're more than any success that you've been through. And then again, let's keep it a buck. Yeah, I might got six figures in my account, but I ain't do that by myself. I was disciplined and I identified people that were able to teach me. And I taught myself DIY. I don't like paying other people. And I'm going to always shout out Ian Dunlap and Rashad and Troy from Market Mondays. InvestFest is going down. Oh shoot, I ain't gonna. It's like in August. It's gonna still be in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like I just came out, but like go out there, man, because like for the last 2 years, I done went there and I done learned a lot of stuff, and I got family out that way, so it's just like it's a pilgrimage for me, right? But just understand that, like if you want to change, like don't be afraid to change, because I think that's something a lot of people are. It's like everybody want to be great, but don't nobody want to work to be great, and then when you're told what to do to be great, it's like you scared of greatness, like those affirmations. Remember I was sending you those affirmations?
Yeah, love those. Yeah, it's
Like
true. You gotta, and that's what they talked about yesterday. The fear of success. Who said that?
yes, yes. Well, let's talk about the fear of success because that's a real thing. It's like
Yeah.
people want the image of success. So it's like, ironically enough, shout out to Dunlap. Ian was talking about that on his Instagram, or his Twitter. He was like, people want to be successful, but I posed the response like, I don't think people want to be successful. I think people want to show the image of success. So like,
Yeah.
a woman might want a very expensive classic Chanel bag. I understand that bag will have value over time. Like a man, like see, I got this little rubber G-Shock.
Hmm.
Well, a Chanel bag ain't nothing but a man's Rolex. So I get it,
Right.
but that ain't success.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think people like, okay, I want to have this car. I want to have this house. I want the material things. I think that's what it is. But like, I'm not trying to work for it. I'm not trying to do all this extra. I'm not trying to do all this extra stuff. I feel like that's one side of it. And then the fear of success. Yeah, I'm pretty sure YB said it. It was either YB or Anita. I can't remember who. But like the fear of success. I mean, it's like okay, things are going well. now I'm kind of getting nervous. Like, when are things gonna mess up? You know what I mean? Like, things are going too good. Like, when is it gonna mess up? Or they come really successful, and maybe they're a person that's more introverted, and they're like, okay, I have all this success, and now it's like I'm in the limelight, and I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want to live like that. I want to just chill and keep doing what I'm doing. So I think there are like two sides to the fear of success.
Oh yeah, and then I think that all rolls into the other concept of the book, like universal consciousness, right? And that's one of the things where, the central understanding of our interconnectedness with the universe and each other fosters a sense of unity, and we use this word all the time. Empathy. Empathy, 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 empathy. I've never really had a lot of empathy in my life. I love my folks, but we not empathetic people. And then all my homies, like, we're definitely not that at all, right?
Yeah.
So, when you read this book, if you kind of want to get a better glimpse of how to, be intentional with that concept, look into the whole concept of universal consciousness.
Yeah, and the definition of empathy, the ability to understand and share feelings of another. If you lack empathy, depending on what you do, I'm gonna say depending on what you do, your entrepreneurship journey is gonna be hard. You have to be able to empathize with people, because who wants to be around someone that just is like me, 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 or it sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's this one. I'm laughing. It's not funny, but like, there's one experience I had at my job, and the person I'm talking about, my coworker at the time, really good friend. We're really good friends now. But she came on to a call, and it was a team of just three of us. And she came onto the call, and she was like, "Yeah, my cousin passed," and I'm like, "I'm so sorry, like, for your loss." Our boss at the time was like, "So you're not gonna work tomorrow?" And my face, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"She just said
Mm-hmm.
died." Like, and you're asking, so what time you gonna work tomorrow? And I'm
You,
like,
you,
that's insane. I'll always remember that, because I was
mhm.
so taken back, and our cameras are off. So I was just like, she really said that. Not, hey, take as much time as you need. Like, that's empathy. Like, she's going through something, and she told you she's going through something.
Mhm.
And because some people, when they hear stuff like that, they just kind of close off from people. Like, I'm not gonna share nothing because it's not like you're gonna care anyway. But that just crazy. Gotta have
And,
empathy.
and then also, what I hear there is like another reason why you should consider entrepreneurship. When you deal with stuff like that, it really is like work-life balance wherever I'm at is not it. I mean, we've all had those jobs. Like my first
Yeah.
job out of college was crazy, straight up. And shout out to my old employer. We ain't shooting no slugs, but I mean. This was not work-life balance was not a thing. Yeah, they didn't care. Show up and get it done. And I don't care if it's a tornado outside. And I got buddies that still are in that line of business. And pandemic hit, and they never stopped working. And that's a real, real thing where it's like, these people over here dying, and y'all still want me to go to work, and they really did, and I was blessed enough to, I had left that place, and I haven't really been back to work since. I've been working hybrid and remote ever since, and just always being humble. And another theme of this book is just the concept of self-awareness and growth, like, and I just through introspection and yeah, I'm disciplined, but like even mental discipline and just like
Hmm.
aligning like your own truth to the universal truth and personal growth and alignment all combined in one. Like when you're able to do all those things and you know act, that's the biggest thing. Like act
Yeah.
on all those things,
Act
man.
on
I
it.
think
Hmm.
I think that's when you like the last video did we did the song for Nip was That's How I Knew. And we didn't announce it, but this song is perfect timing. And this concept of what we're doing is perfect timing. This book is it's perfect and it's ordained because it's like how it just kind of aligned. Like it's like all understood that things might not go the way you want them to go, but at the same time, it's the way the universe is supposed to make it happen, and you gotta respect that.
Oh yeah, 100%. perfect timing, especially with the growth. You have to be able to pivot, and it's gonna in some situations it's gonna be tough to pivot. Whether that's, hey, I have to hire some people, maybe I have to let some people go. Like, you have to be able to pivot in your journey of entrepreneurship. I've done that countless times where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go this route, and then it changes, and then it changes, and it pivots, it pivots, it pivots. Like our coach YB, for example, that man be doing everything. I'm like, dang, you really be doing all this stuff? He's like, you know what? I'm gonna start do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna definition of pivot is is that guy for sure. But yeah, you definitely have to have the discipline, and it's gonna be muscle memory. Like you have to train yourself to do it. Like for me, it's you have to like kind of break a habit mentally. Like you have to break a habit. You have to be very, very intentional. But once you're in the rhythm of it, it's like you're good. You know what I mean? You definitely have to build that muscle memory of, okay, I'm gonna think this way, or okay, I'm gonna do this way, and it's not gonna bother me. And that just takes time. That's not like an instant thing. Like you can't just switch up what you've been doing for years
Yeah.
in like in a few days. Like it's gonna be over time. But once you get it, you're pretty much good.
It's funny you say time because it took me 20 years to go from that picture to where I'm at now. So,
An example,
yeah,
20
yeah.
years. I'm gonna give a biblical example. Israelites, 40 years in the wilderness. 40 years. You know how long the journey was supposed to take? I think it was supposed to only take 12 or 13 days. And it went to 40 years because they were stuck in their ways and they complained. So they weren't ready to step in to that promised land. They weren't ready. Mentally, they weren't ready. A whole generation had to die off. Like that's what like you're not gonna step into what you want until you kind of build that muscle memory, that like, okay, let me let go of the past. Hey, don't be looking in the rearview mirror. Like look forward. Like you have to build it up. And it could be painful. So I definitely am with Vic on, if you need to speak to someone like a therapist or anything like that, like I definitely will encourage you, because some things we can't do ourselves. And I'm learning that myself. Like you have to invite people into your situation for help. Like we have a business coach, like that's for a reason. So I was like, okay, I don't know what else, I don't know what to do. It's like above your understanding. So I definitely encourage you to invite people in to help you with whatever it is, personal, professional. Definitely encourage that.
And as we come to a close, because I know you said you had to tap, and I think we're a little over time. Like the
Awesome.
last thing
Hmm.
that correlates with like what you just spoke to about the Israelites, right? It's like practical spirituality is one of the other key themes of this book. So it offers actionable steps for, integrating like the concepts that we've been talking about in your daily routine. So the book really bridges the gap between like spiritual concepts to everyday life. So, you know, I don't want to like give the whole book away. I want to definitely let y'all go and lock in. Like, three magic words is a book that I think is good that you check out. I think it's a good way for you to really start to identify like, okay, so, mental health and, just spirituality and all of those things are things where, if done properly, will help me in my journey as a entrepreneur. And it's not easy, man. Like, cause even with my current iteration of my venture, like I've really been doing this for 15 years. So like, I came out of Alleyne, and shout out to the 757. You know what I'm saying? What up, Bubba Chuck? He just got a street named after him in downtown Bad News. What's happening? So I had moved to Hampton like straight from Alleyne, and I looked crazy, man. Mouth full of gold and starchy Archies and Dickies, and you see what I'm saying? No Tamba was after everywhere, and people looked at me like I was nuts. And in that immediate change, like my life switched up, and I just started, surrounding myself around different people, and the concept of sustainable growth creative was really fostered in. I need to get a job. What do I need to do to get a job? Oh, I need to get an internship. What I need to get an internship. Oh, I need to have a resume, or I need to get my interview skills up. Okay, so my first job out of college is this. Oh, this ain't it. So what do I need to do? I need to put myself in the right place to meet the right people. Ken Ampey and Sam Young and Oliver Singleton, I lay out to life. Y'all saved my life because y'all saved me from my first gig. Because my first gig, I just wasn't prepared or equipped to be a good employer at that first job. And I love those people, and those people are good people, but I just wasn't fit. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, when we look at, you know, just how all this correlates to this book, I was self-aware enough to know that that wasn't it. And I was with my previous employer for a little bit of time. And the only reason I left is because it made me uncomfortable. And that's, I think, one of the last things we need to lead on, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want the success, you got to take risk. You got to be comfortable failing. I've failed at multiple things, you know, and I am cool with that because it's like I learned. But what I'm doing now, hopefully it makes me stronger. And even if I fail today, it's all good because, like, I thank God for the failures more than the blessings, because the failures make me appreciate the blessings more.
Oh yeah, 100%. Gives you different perspective on everything. When you like are down bad and then you come up, you're like, man, I needed that, because would you have appreciated the blessing if you didn't go through that? Probably not. You might have stuck in the
100%.
same mindset and stuff like that. But definitely like and subscribe to our channel.
For sure, for
Uh,
sure.
love all you guys who have been tuning in this is episode 5. So the past 4 episodes, please share with your friends. We're also on Apple Podcasts. I'm not sure if we're going to be on Spotify at this point, but I hope we will be. But definitely YouTube and Apple Podcasts.
For sure. Well, again, shout out to the Three Magic Words by Uell and S. Andersen. Timeless book, and you know, it's profound and prolific, and you know, lock in on it. The marathon continues. It sounds like the right way to end it. I don't know. I just forced
Yeah,
that,
that's perfect.
you know. But man, one time for the homie nip. You know the vibes, man. You know, we out of here, man.
Look, I know perfect timing feels like I'm too late. And I know I'm still great in spite of my mistakes.